morning to you, our dear viewers. It's on a Friday. I hope umeingia mode ya weekend, and we are here to make sure that you are informed of what is happening. Welcome to Current Affairs segment, your only segment where we bring to you latest news, insightful discussions, impactful stories shaping the nation and beyond. And if you have any question or any thought, or you want to add up onto what we are talking about today, you can just reach us on our WhatsApp number, that is 0799 200 100, or on our socials, that is at Mizpah TV Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube. And I'm not alone today. I'm with Angela Kabete, and together we will help you understand what is happening in our country. Good morning.
Good morning, Grace.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. What about you?
I'm very fine.
When was the last time tulikuwa na current affairs?
Ilikuwa ni hii wiki tu, hata sikumbuki. Yes.
But I'm so glad that our viewers they have created time to tune in and connect with us.
Yeah. Ni mood ya weekend, unasikia aje? Today is Fun Friday here at Mizpah TV.
Yeah, it's Fun Friday. Kwa hivyo ni sisi tunawasha kwa mood za weekend sasa.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, we can head on to the verse of the day kabla tuingie kwa what is happening in our country. Yeah, our verse of the day comes from the book of Philippians chapter 1 verse 6. And the Bible says, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. I repeat, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ. You know, the writer of Philippians alikuwa Paul. Na anawapea a very good assurance hapa. That mwenye alianzisha kazi nzuri ndani yako, ataweza kuimaliza. And this is a very nice verse this morning to encourage our viewers that Christ started that good thing in you. Even if maybe kuna mtu anapitia mambo anafeel ni kama there are things that are not good in me, I'm not worthy, or I don't have anything good in me. But today we are reminding you that he who started a good work in you, meaning that there is something good in you, there is something good that God has deposited in your life, and he will definitely make it to come to pass even if things are not going on well.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes.
Yeah, tuambia Grace, I love the way it's saying your part you're being confident.
Yes.
It means that alafu hiyo part inatuambia that God is the one who began good work in us. It means that even in our spiritual growth, you know, quickly transitioning ya mtu akiokoka, you know, hapo ndio umeanza your journey walking with Christ. Kwa hivyo that means that is where you have laid your foundation in Christ.
Yes.
And so that you can become matured, when someone is spiritually matured, that is the journey that you're supposed to walk. And alafu, you know, God is a person who loves foundation. No.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard people saying this, that niliokoka Grace. Watu wanasema nilikuwa sijaokoka, nilikuwa na pesa. After nikaokoka nikasota. Have you ever heard that? I think people saying that. It's because when you get born again, the devil stops financing the things that he was doing for you. And now God starts building foundation in you as a human being. He starts working with you the right process, you know. I love to unaona inaongelea mambo ya a good work in you. Unaona inasema that ni yeye ataimalizia mpaka mwisho, completion. It means that God, he is faithful in everything. He will not abandon us as human beings. You know, God is not like a human being. Maybe people start working at your Grace, and now when they feel like this person is not giving me the results that I want, no, this person is not productive the way I want, and they get tired. But the good thing with God, he doesn't abandon us, and that's why we need to have confidence in him, you know, as our Christ, you know, as our Lord. Nona alafu tena bado, this is our hope. Nona Grace, mambo ya completion, that is the journey of salvation. Still there is eternal life. At least that is hope for us as human
when
beings.
he comes, the second coming of because he will come. And as we conclude that segment of the verse of the day, I want to remind our viewers today that God doesn't abandon the work he started. So even if it's spiritually or any aspect of your life, as long as he started a good work in you, he will definitely bring it to completion. Be encouraged this weekend.
Yeah.
Yes. We can head on to what is happening.
Yeah, what has been happening, Grace?
Yes, I'm having the Daily Nation.
I'm having my standard, the standard with me.
Yeah, I think we should start with the education sector.
Yeah, I'll be checking the education sector. Then we check things to do with the economy itself.
Yes.
And then we check a little bit of politics and governance. Yeah. And now on my standard, on the standard that is on page 2, Grace.
Yes.
I can see here the addressing that is one of the universities known in Kenya, that is Moi University, dismisses staff of 900 staff. Imagine 900 staff. It means that if they have dismissed 900 staff, kuna unemployment in our country sasa. These are 900 people left without jobs, Grace. Over debt, low enrollment in the school itself. And they're saying that employees told to collect redundancy notification letters between May 14 and May 23. When redundancy happen, you wanapunguza watu in case number 1 they're not able to pay the people ama workers wakiwa wengi, Grace. So our watu atenda wapi? And then they're saying the layoffs affect both academic and non-teaching staff. So meaning that it's also going to have impact on the students themselves. They're saying the staff affected 389 members of the Kenya University Staff Union, 384 members of the Kenya Union of Domestic Hotels and education institution, hospitals and allied workers, and then 127 lecturers who are members of the University Academic Staff Union. And you know what they're saying, Grace? The university, once a leading academic institution in the country, has informed the affected employees that the letters they received serve as a notice of termination of employment following a review of the university's operation and needs a financial sustainability. And then they said your position has been identified as one that is affected by the redundancy process, and the letter reads in part. The notification was sent to the employees by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Lois Maru. And you know, Grace, I don't know if this is something the government can check out, because I can see of late, especially this month, the education sector imekuwa affected sana. And you know, even we saw yesterday that the education PS, Professor Julius Bitok, aliappear before the National Assembly Committee, and he was saying that he was complaining about that is the treasury, they slashed that is the education budget by 62 billion.
Education is very important.
Yes. So most of the education sectors will be affected a lot. And you know, education is the key thing.
Especially to our children. Sahi wanaingia junior high school.
You know, the education is being affected a lot. So I hope things when it comes to that is the Moi University watangalia, because you know it's one of the leading institutions in our country. They should check that. And but they're saying that things to do that on the same story Moi University. Last month, the university had announced its intention to declare redundancy for both teaching and non-teaching staff, a move that followed termination of some of the staffs in the school. So they should check out. Alafu unajua bado, Grace, apart from that, the current CBA the teachers they are using in the school institution in expire that is in June. And Kabete bado unajua they have already proposed that is an increase that is in hardship allowances as part of the new negotiations. So we are wondering, I don't know if people are wondering or their teachers are watching us out there, how they're feeling about that. You know, 62 billion is a lot.
It's a lot of money.
Now
education sector is very important and very crucial to our children, because sasa ndo wanaingia senior high school. Sasa unaweza pata sasa mambo hata yana haribika tu.
But you know, in the allocation of the funds, the budget that the fiscal year that is the 2024 the 2025 2026 tuliona that the higher education level waliongezewa pesa. So I hope this is going to work for them. But hata kama the higher education waliongezewa pesa, the lower education level walipunguziwa. And now they are saying that there is a slash of 62 billion. I hope before that is the fiscal budget, the allocation of the funds petition that is in June 1 somewhere. At least they check out these issues because they're affecting a lot of things. And still on education, Grace, on the same page, that is page 2 of the Standard. Education director gives schools 6 months to acquire title deeds. Wait, is okay. Kuna shule zenye wana title deeds.
Wameishi hivyo bila title deed.
Let's read it as see a little bit of what they're saying. The Ministry of Education has issued a 6-month notice to all public schools to acquire title deeds for the parcels of land they occupy. And the directive comes in the wake of increased cases of land grabbing targeting public institutions. And then they say the ministry has directed county directors of education to work with the school principals and the board of management to acquire land ownership documents from the Ministry of Lands. Okay. So in 6 months,
6 months kidogo sana.
To the principals, I don't think the process takes that long. Ya kuacquire title deeds. I love to know this sounds like an urgent thing. Probably utashughulikiwa. To the principals, watu wote wa mashule, probably know there are principals that are watching us. You have 6 months.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, you know, especially for the public schools. Yeah, because I think for the private sectors lazima ukuwe na title deed.
Wanajua wanajipanga.
Yeah, for the to the principals watching us, to the public schools, make sure that mmepatiwa 6 months to have a title deed on the land. Yenye wejengea mashule. And the education officers and the head of school should work closely with security agencies so that we can stem this arson crisis mainly in the second term. That is what he said.
Okay.
Yeah. And still education, do you have any story?
I have
education.
There's this page number 2. There's a story here, an interesting one.
Interesting.
There's a new system that is coming up for the learners data and maisha number to be integrated in new state plan. This system is expected to track a learner's progress from early childhood all the way to higher education, creating a continuous learning profile. And this story says a new system that will integrate learners data with the maisha number digital identification will be piloted in July. Wow, I wonder, in July is it to May? Okay. The Kenya Education Management Information System, KEMIS, will replace the National Education Management System, that is NEMIS, platform, which has faced many challenges from the time it was launched in 2018. Educational Principal Secretary Julius Bitok says the system incorporates 2 key additions. One, a mobile application for education. You need a mobile. And integration with the maisha number digital ID. So you have to have the maisha number ID and also a mobile application. And a maisha number, every newborn will be provided with a unique personal identifier, that is UPI. Every child who gets into this system, they are going to be offered a unique personal identifier, which will also be used by KEMIS, that is Kenya Education Management Information System. And the UPI will also be used to process death certificates numbers and help the government store accurate data. And it says that if you need your child's report, if you need anything to know about your child, you simply use the app. You open the app, enter your child's ID, and access the end of term results instantly. And then the CS Professor Julius Bitok says our objective is to make this process increasingly convenient. We understand a small percentage of people might not know how to use the app, but they will get guidance and assistance.
From who?
And they're saying it should start from July.
Grace, when it comes to the UPI, my name is Grace. Ni vitu zenye zimekuwa hapo. Unajua things to do. I think pia high school wote walikuwa wanatumia, especially when it comes to the medical insurance. But you know, yesterday tuliona bado the education PS that is Professor Julius Bitok. Alikuwa anasema even before the latest cuts, that is 62 billion in the education sector, they had already kulikuwa na removal of funding for the student medical insurance. Unajua hiyo UPI na name is this grace ndio zilikuwa zinatumika. UPI number ukienda hospitali ulikuwa unaitishwa. So they're saying the cut hiyo cut ilikuwa imeaffect even before the cut, the student medical insurance iko inafanya. Ndio ilikuwa kazi ya UPI number pia. So they're telling us that it's coming back.
Na wanasema watafunza watu kutumia, hatujui watu wenye wako mashinani huko ndani kama watafikiwa.
Even watu
wenye hawana masimu, kuna watu bado hawana smartphone, hatafikiwa na smartphone.
True. Even their parents, so they don't know what his name is.
They don't even know what is UPI. They don't even know how to use a smartphone, some of them.
Even the students themselves who unapatiwa number, I don't know if probably the students watching us, Grace, they really don't know what his name is. They don't know what is UPI. You just giving a number without having a clue of what it is. You know, probably before equal introducer, they have said they start by educating and people.
They should get to hata mashinani huko ndani and help the parents understand what they are saying. But let's see whether it will work ikifika hiyo July.
And still on education, Grace, education, it seems like inahitaji serious
education,
because on page 5 of the standard, the PSC distances itself from UON leadership wrangles. That is the Public Service Commission has distanced itself from the ongoing leadership stalemate of University of Nairobi. So there are wrangles in the leadership itself. So can we say, because if the leadership is not good, Grace, in a school, there are wrangles. How will the school function if the management is not good? How will the school function itself? It means that pia wanafunzi watakuwa affected.
The results of the students zitaenda chini. Hata utapata walimu wanaweza kosa kuenda class kufunza, maybe, probably,
because the thing the PSC now wants stakeholders at the University of Nairobi to amicably resolve the dispute to avert further damage of the university's reputation and national anxiety. And they're saying the commission urges the parties involved to resolve the dispute expeditiously as guided by the law in order to save the country unnecessary anxiety and stem a deterioration of the image of the premier university. That is what Kimonyi said. So I don't know if they the education kupet not what they have talks.
They have talks about that, because si vizuri shule ikikuwa na mambo kama hayo. It will affect the children, the students.
It seems that sahi education inafaa iangaliwe sana.
Sahi education ni kama iko na a lot of stories sana.
It has a lot of issues. I hope the government and the leaders that are involved when it comes to matters to do with education, the teachers, they sit down, have a meeting, have a strategy that even if they complain this and this is not happening, how are they wakisaidiwa? Na nasema kama for example, 62 billion, wapatiwe 62 billion. Grace, will they deliver the work?
Will they do exactly what they are supposed to? Because for me, I think, do you think teaching is a calling or a profession? Because if it was, of course, a profession, yes, but if it comes from within, it's a calling. You'll be able to even go to class to kufunza because you just want to see students thriving. But if you're doing it for money only, I don't think you'll do it well.
But don't forget the economy is hard, Grace.
It is hard, but still. Anyway, think about that. Is teaching a profession or a calling?
So they should check out that, Grace.
Yes.
And now on other stories, what do you have?
There's this story about IEBC. It says, unfit for office, the case against IEBC nominees. And there's a caption here. Dua tells court some of those named were unqualified to apply or be selected for jobs. So it says, Kenyans' desire for reconstitution of the Electoral Commission may be delayed further following queries on the eligibility of 4 of the 7 persons nominated by President William Ruto recently. Tuliona walichaguliwa na wakapelekwa huko mbele.
I think the National Assembly,
the National Assembly,
down,
yes, but Kenyans wamekataa kabisa, and they are saying they are unqualified. A petition filed at the High Court in Milimani, Nairobi, claims the proposed chairperson Erastus Edang Ethicon, together with nominees Hassan Noor Hassan, Mary Karen Sorobit, and Anne Derito, were not qualified to apply or to be selected as members of the IEBC. This is because of perceived bias, breach of the principles of political neutrality, vying for political posts in 2022, being member of political outfits, and failure to leave state office before their nomination. Yeah, they were nominated alongside some of them. They are mentioned hapa: Moses Mukwama, Francis Odhiambo, and Fadhima Abdallah as commissioners. And the court case, which possessed a fresh stalemate on the reconstitution of the polls body, came at a time the National Assembly is preparing to vet the 7 nominees. So hatujui kama hawa bado wataendelea kukua kuangaliwa kama wataingia kwa the IEBC.
I think the National Assembly will sit down.
Yeah.
And then they'll consider,
and also the court.
Yeah. But unajua sasa Grace, I'm wonder the IEBC wamepatiwa that is ya kuchagua that is 90 days.
Yeah.
And it seems that tena wakikata it means they will need more time.
Meaning hizi vitu zenye zimehalitiwa hapa na court. Do you think they were supposed to kuangalia mapema? Juu kama court wanakuja na the reasons why they are not fit for the post. I think the IEBC walikuwa wanafaa kukaa chini mapema na analyze those things na wazitambue if they are really relevant. Yes.
Like, you know, for example, kama ya the chairperson, they gave the president 4 people.
Yeah.
He was supposed to choose one from the 4 people.
Akachoose.
So akichagua inafaa ipeleko kwa the National Assembly.
Yeah.
Then the National Assembly will decide if that person is fit or not. Wakikataa, majina tena itarudishwa kwa the president.
Yeah.
He choose from the remaining 3. That is what happens.
We will see what they will say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And away from the IEBC, Grace, let's dive into things to do with money matters and the economy. On page 3 of the Standard, 24 million Kenyans wear mitumba. Grace, do you wear mitumba? Kenya, but that is true, you know.
Yeah.
24 million Kenyans wear mitumba.
Watu wanapenda mitumba wewe.
One, I don't know, probably because they're cheap.
They are cheap and also zinakaa. According to vile nimesikia.
The quality itself.
The quality is better than.
Hiyo ni maoni ya wananchi.
Alafu tena uwezi pata mtu mwingine akiwa na hiyo nguo.
But that's true. I agree.
Ukivaa duka unaweza pata 100.
Kila mtu ako nayo because it's a trend.
It's a trend.
But mitumba uko sure hii dress nikipata hapa it's unique.
Unapata vintage fit hapo alafu utapata mtu mwingine nayo.
Yeah, but they want to hear from Kenyan citizens. Why do you love mitumba? You know, why? You know, why would you choose mtumba over nguo ya duka? Watuambie Grace.
Yes,
Maoni yao.
tell us.
Yeah, that is on 0799200100. That is our WhatsApp number. Why do you love mitumba? You know, because according to here at the Standard, 24 million Kenyans wear mitumba.
Yeah.
And they saying in 2023, Kenya imported, that is 177,644 tons of second-handed clothes, according to the report. And then economists say mitumba and local apparel manufacturing can coexist and complement each other. Let's read a little bit of it, but I can see at a glance they have elated that is 16 billion amount of revenue that the government made from the mitumba industry in 2023, according to the study. 16 billion, that is good money, right? And nearly half of Kenyans wear second-handed clothes, commonly known as mitumba, according to a new report. According to a survey conducted by the Institute of Economic Affairs, Kenya, that is the IEA, and the Mitumba Consortium, by strong consumer demand. The study, a future look at the apparel and footwear industry in Kenya, was commissioned to explore the future of clothing industry and focused on the data of 2023. And they found that is 24.2 million Kenyans bought second-hand clothes in 2023, with the country marking 16 billion from the revenue. During the release of the report in Nairobi yesterday, and the mitumba traders sought to dispel claims that Kenya is dumping ground for used clothes. So a dumping ground for used clothes. So Kenyans, do you feel because Grace, I think Mitumba inasaidia watu wengi sana.
Inasaidia sana. Unapata uko na 200 lakini nguo unaokota hapo.
But you know, this statement doesn't sound good. Kenya is a dumping ground for used clothes. You know?
Yeah, it's not a good statement because kuna watu wanatumia those clothes as their official clothes kwenda kazi.
And they look classy.
Yes, and they look classy.
And they're saying Kenya is not a dumping ground for mitumba. That is one of the statements tolewa na watu. As some of the people have claimed, that is what IEA said. The chief executive Kwame Owino, the leader of research, the lead researcher of the report, he said mitumba items are collected from countries in the global north, where they are sorted and classified according to the quality and use, and of the 10 repacked for sale. That is what anasema. So, and bado anasema mitumba industry is particularly important for women and younger people, offering employment opportunities. But that's true.
Yeah, true.
You know, I think that is one of the industries yenye watu wengi, if mtu anajua kikosa kazi, nikiuza manguo sitakosa pesa. You know?
Yeah.
And
iko na kazi hiyo.
Yeah, and the thing offering employment opportunities and a vital source of income that helps strengthening our households and livelihoods. That is what is said.
Yeah.
You know, so and the bado wanasema kuna taxes, Grace, kwa mitumba.
Yeah.
And they say these taxes support government services like universal healthcare and investment in infrastructure. So that is a report that was given.
Yeah. Mitumba inapea watu kazi, inapea watu pesa.
Yeah, bado wanasema the report offers compelling evidence that second-hand clothing isn't a barrier to the textile industries. For growth, it is part of the solution. We can ensure that low-income families can afford quality clothes. But, you know, talking of the textile industries, I think PSCC in our country, we can work on that, Grace.
Yes.
You know, instead of, even if we import, Grace, the mitumba, probably we can import less and export more in our country, or create or the textile industries watu wakuwa nanunua manguo in our own countries pia.
Yeah,
you know,
inaweza kuwa very it can be advantageous for our country.
Yeah,
tunaweza pata a lot of investors because pia sisi tunaweza. Yes,
at least pia tutasaidia ku find stability that is in our economy.
True.
That is what we had when it comes to things to do with the economic affairs.
Yes.
What do you have there?
There's a story here that happened in Nakuru, and it's very sad. I don't know whether I should say it's sad because okay, it's crime. But 2 brothers and their friends were accused of being part of a gang terrorizing Nakuru residents. Area police boss has said the young men were shot dead during an operation after they defied orders to surrender. Yeah, hapa sasa, I don't know whether to say it's bad to shoot, but I don't know. I don't know whether watu wakipata wakifanya crime wanafaa kushutiwa ama kuchukuliwa hatua. On July 14th, 2022, police officers shot dead 4 youth in Kwamaiko village in Barut area, Nakuru West sub-county, during a security operation. Then Nakuru County Police Commander Peter Mwanzo, just 16 days into the job, told the media that the 4 were members of a gang called Nyuki Squad. Nyuki Squad. Yeah, which had been linked to a spate of robberies and violence within the county. He said that the officers who were acting on reports from residents that there were youth attacking unsuspecting passers-by, disguised themselves as civilians, swung into action. The gang members, who Mr. Mwanzo said were armed with arrows and pangas, were ordered to stop but refused to obey orders. It was then that the officers opened fire, killing the 4 on the spot. That's what now Mr. Mwanzo is saying. That is the police officer. Yeah, Mr. Mwanzo further explained that before the shooting, the officers fired a warning shot to scare the suspects away, but they allegedly called for reinforcement from other members who were hiding. But now that story, ukisikiza what the neighbors are saying, when you walisikia, it's a different story, so we don't know whether it is really true. Yeah, but unfortunately the family is crying because kuna watoto wao waliuliwa. Yes.
That is sad. but still I think we need to find ways to curb such kind of incidences. The young people could be engaged with gangs, Grace.
Yes, actually they're saying Mr. Mwanzo's version of events, those of the young men's families and witnesses, and what the police later told the Independent Police Oversight Authority differently significantly, and points to the possibility of execution by overzealous police. Witnesses and the families of the young men that the nation spoke to said the four were rounded up from their house and shot in Kipchiril's house. Unasikia what the witnesses and the families are saying? Walikuwa wamekaa tu kwa nyumba wakakuja wakashutiwa, but the police is saying walikuwa kwa gang, wakaambiwa wasarende wakakataa. So we don't know who is saying the truth, but I guess inafaa kuchukuliwa hatua.
And you know, when it comes to the incidences that police are supposed to shoot, Grace, number one, it's only when there is a threat of life. That is number one. Those are the incidents that the police are supposed to shoot. Secondly, when it is necessary, Grace, only when it is necessary. And pia wanasema, Grace, the incidents that police can shoot, they're saying that use of force must be proportional. So they're supposed to use less
force.
So hawafai kushoot watu only when it is necessary. So I don't know if it's these incidents that was the only way to capture these people, because number one, families wameachwa hivyo, Grace. And next time if they find goons, you know, the guns, are they going to use the same strategy?
Hata pia watu wenye walikuwa hapo wameachwa na trauma, because there's a man here, picha yake imechorwa hapa, and he's been talking to the nation, na anasema hata waisahau kitu ili happen hiyo siku, na vitu alisikia and all that. It left him traumatized till date. Na it happened around 2022.
Okay, I think they should find ways to handle such kind of incidents, Grace. So that our because the families are going to demand for justice.
Wata demand for justice, and we don't really know kama watapewa.
We don't know. And still on legal crime and justice, Grace, but let's dive to the police themselves. Budget cuts cripple police hiring, and they're saying modernization for 2027 elections. Inspector General of Police reveals NPS faces that is 40.9 billion shortfall in the budget funding. And still he says plans to recruit 10,000 police officers and training are now in jeopardy. That is what he said. And Bado, I can see here a shortfall that is 6.3 billion amount needed for the planned recruitment of 10,000 police officers, and they're saying only 2.9 billion has been allocated, leaving a shortfall for 3.46 billion. I think when he talks about the allocation and the fiscal year, that is the 2025, the 2026, because still anasema that that is the inspector. Kanja announced that the process of designing new uniforms for Kenya Police the general duty officers is complete and now awaits funding for mass production. But me, I'm wondering, Grace, when it comes to uniform, is it necessary? Because I think for me, this is
they look good other than before. Unless I want to change tena.
I don't know. There's a time they had suggested a color. Probably next time to tafuta to flash kwa screen, because the color it looks
good. It is better, the blue one.
But according to him, the process of designing new uniforms for the police general duty is complete.
Maybe wamechoka na hiyo. Ni kama venye ukifika form 3 ulikuwa na uniform.
And still, that is, he said that 6.3 billion is needed for planned recruitments for the officers. Nabedo amesema that still leaving a shortfall of that is 3.46 billion recruitment. Costs cover uniforms, ammunition, food, training, and utilities. Probably, let's say hiyo mambo yao itangaziwa before before budget petition. That is June 1. At least amesema mapema, Grace.
Vizuri, watu wanajiweka, watu wanasema mapema. These sectors watu wanasema mapema.
That is what the Inspector General Police Douglas Kanja said. And some of the cuts have affected the recruitment efforts meant to fill staffing gaps to prepare for the polls. That is the 2027 elections. That is things to do with the National Police and Service. before we have 4 minutes, what do you have there?
Yeah, before we conclude, I want us to welcome our viewers. Tomorrow we have an upcoming event here at Mizpah House of Prayer. Yeah, we have the Ladies of Nobility. Yes, and ni vizuri to welcome all the ladies. Ni wakati mzuri wa watu kukuja kunini kuomba. What can you say about the Ladies of Nobility?
Okay, it's a good platform, you know, for ladies to gather. They get to learn, you know, to pray for the families, you know, the church and the nation itself. Yeah,
it's a very good time. If you're a lady, we welcome all of you here at Mizpah House of Prayer. That is Bahati, Nakuru. We'll be having an amazing time. And we have a very good guest, full of wisdom. Her name is Reverend Beatrice Karaoke from Praying Generational Ministries. She's coming to speak to the ladies here at Mizpah House of Prayer. Yes, and we welcome all of them. You're any age, actually hakuna age limit. As long as you're a lady, married, unmarried, you know, you're a young woman, an old woman, despite the age, we are welcoming all of you. It will be a good time to come and learn, relearn, and unlearn, and also to come and pray, intercede, standing in the gap for the family, for the nation, because unaona sahi, Angela, we are in the month of mental wellness, and we really need, they really need to come and talk and also pray, because unapatanga ladies wanabeba mambo mengi sana, especially from their families. They carry a lot of baggages, and this is the only place where you will come and speak out, and a space where you will come and, you know, kujimwaga. You'll come and pray to the Lord and tell him what you feel your heart is carrying, maybe from your family or from your past, you know, traumas or anything. Or also, if you have some future plans, this is the only place where tomorrow you're coming to tell the Lord what is in your heart. Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, our dear viewers, for being part of Current Affairs segment. And this segment has been sponsored by Stack Institute and Driving School. And the courses they offer is cosmetology. We have ICT, hospitality courses, driving school. There are various branches in Nakuru County. Main campus is in Njoro Town on the Egerton, that is Njoro Road. You can visit their website, that is on www.stackinstitute.ac.ke, and register online to get a 10% off. And you can also reach out via their email, that is info@stackinstitute.ac.ke. If you need these courses, cosmetology, ICT, hospitality courses, driving school, just enda hapo na ututag Mizpah TV Current Affairs, and you will definitely utashughulikiwa vizuri. Thank you so much. Have a good day and also a wonderful weekend, and make sure ya kwamba umekuja kesho na on Sunday umeenda kanisani. See you next time. Bye bye.